Situation unfolding on Staten Island. Police finding suspicious materials on a bus after a woman came into a local precinct saying that she had been held captive there for hours.
All right, Jessica Formoso joins us live from the scene in St. George with the latest. Jessica.
Stephen, Natasha, that's right. It was here on Central Avenue behind the screen.
It's been a long night of fun for young Carla Westland. But as she tells our special correspondent, Kim Goldman, the night is about to get a lot longer.
I had people reach out to me that told me the same thing happened to them.
A young mother who was gang raped inside her apartment with her 2-year-old present has a powerful message to share.
And her message, it's important to believe. Taylor Hirth will head to court this week to watch another woman's case be resolved. Taylor's story may be tough to hear, but it brings up an ugly truth about how rape victims are treated.
Charges for
Here's
allegedly sexual assaulting 2 women in separate attacks. New surveillance video shows the man just minutes before he allegedly assaulted one of the women near her home.
Good evening.
Today, that suspect, 28-year-old Kenneth Davis.
Police caught on to the man now facing charges for raping and impregnating a 12-year-old.
He tried to tell officers his
miles from one another.
Just his friends.
7X reporter Sarah Michaels spoke with neighbors on Grand River Avenue that I never what happened in their block.
The woman who lived on the street told me that minutes before Davis allegedly sexually assaulted a 16-year-old woman. They have footage of him walking down their street.
Forcibly ran train. We forcibly used to white girls, and we used to sneak crack in the white girls' cigarettes to fuck them. We didn't sneak nothing in they drink. You lying on me. We didn't do the black girl like that. Only white girl, white boy. Now get mad now.
We used to run trains on white girls. Choo choo.
Robin Hood.
We used to do it without permission. Without permission.
Oh
shit. Yeah. We just come in with dicks out.
Oh.
I wanted to take your daughter's pussy. If she came over here to fuck my homeboy, she go fuck all of us.
Who gives a damn? I only rape white women. I brag about raping as a kid when I was a little bitty boy.
Welcome back for another commentary, review, and thoughts about what's been going on. There's a unfortunate YouTube war, as you would say, going on between several content creators. But the one that takes most precedence is what's been going on with Charleston White's comments about, as you would say, graping white women when he was a child. What's even more disturbing is he has several interviews stating this on several podcasts, not just certain ones specifically. I'm not going to say no names. We all have seen the podcasts, the reviews, the reactions. I've taken my time to kind of look at everything, do my research, look at the man, and I have to say the least, it is very disturbing, if not conceited. But one thing that it makes me angry at the whole situation is it is not funny. Most people who were on these podcasts laughed at it like it was a joke, or like some people are saying, they were laughably in agreement to what he was saying. So situations like this online causes a great upstir in among women around the world, and you have groups like Grape Culture, feminism, Me Too movements, and so on and so forth. And it looks bad for men. It looks bad among men, especially when we have people who are entertaining this and not checking the situation, or not questioning the situation or the person about what they're saying to make sure if it's factual or not, if it's criminal or not. Because at the end of the day, on the surface of everything, this is very criminal, this is very serious, and it's very demoralizing. So let's step back and look at how all this transcended. Now, wartime sexual violence is where a lot of this took place and started, if not was very much formulated into what it has become today. During war and armed conflict, rape is frequently used as a means of psychological warfare in order to humiliate the enemy. Wartime sexual violence may occur in a variety of situations, including institutionalized sexual slavery, wartime sexual violence associated with specific battles or massacres, as well as individual or isolated acts of sexual violence. Rape can also be recognized as genocide when it is committed with the intent to destroy. The rape of women by soldiers during wartime has occurred throughout history. The result of the prolonged sexual deprivation of troops and insufficient military discipline. It is used as a weapon of war and was gruesomely demonstrated during World War II. In the second half of the 20th century, cases of rape were documented in more than 20 military and paramilitary conflicts. For instance, the ethnic cleansing in the former Yugoslavia, and as a means of genocide in Rwanda. In the former case, women belonging to subjugated ethnic groups were intentionally impregnated through rape by enemy soldiers. In the latter case, women belonging to the Tutsi ethnic group were systematically raped by HIV-infected men recruited and organized by the Hutu-led government. So, as you can see, the atrocities of rape pretty much was instituted through wartime primarily. Now let's look at modern times. Sexual assault and substance abuse are frequently intertwined for a number of reasons. First, drugs and alcohol may be used to facilitate sexual assault. Second, the trauma of being a victim of sexual abuse or assault may lead to the use of drugs, alcohol to cope. Finally, suffering from the addiction may place an individual at greater risk of becoming a victim of assault. In this situation, you see, this explains some of the modern issues we have that leads to sexual assault and rape that we call, for the new term of modern sexual assault. We have instances on college campuses, instances at bars, nightclubs, sometimes dinner dates that have gone too long with extended drinking episodes. And sometimes we have issues where we're starting to see instances where dating apps are luring predators, and the women dressing are attracting some of these situations, or the way they have to talk to attract the man. And then they play tag as far as the conversation of, trying to attract somebody may lead to a sexual assault. At the end of the day, everything that we do requires accountability, requires constraint and moderation. We can't just continue to point the finger at one or the other. But I will say this, throughout the dawn of time, man has been the predatory or predicator to sexual advancement. Women has been the prey to desire and sexual attraction. The problem that we're facing now is more and more women are assuming and thinking sexual attraction is bodily empowerment. Female empowerment makes you feel good. And then the industry of social media, tech giants are actually allowing this. And it looks like they're pushing this narrative. And you have the porn industry still pushing the narrative in the underground scenes for those who cannot gain sexual attraction or who cannot gain sexual access. But the biggest issue is, if we want to blame each other, then why is it that the majority of women who are on social media continue to push the narrative to dress promiscuously, and then they're making themselves subconsciously prey to those who are deemable to be predators. Let's look at the instance of the lion hunting for his prey. Do you think the zebras, who are always in a group, is going to just be like, oh, well, just because we have to have stripes, the lion is not going to attack? Just because we're out here feeding, the lion's not going to attack? No. Do you think the lion's going to tell a zebra, oh, I have to attack because you have stripes, you look like food? No, the lion is going to attack its prey regardless. But the key thing about this situation is every animal that is prey always looks out for what's going on in their environment. They are fully aware of their environment. And one thing that they always do is they always group together when they're in a dangerous environment. And then there's cases where other animals who flock in that same environment help other animals protect from the predators. But the zebra never puts itself out there by itself to be food or prey to the lion. This is the same similar instance when women put themselves out there dressing promiscuously, and then they want to turn around and say, well, men should be able to control themselves. You cannot dictate what every man is capable of doing, but you can dictate how a man can approach you. Now, as far as men are going to be men, but what men need to do, whether they're young, kids, or adults, they need to correct or teach men how to be in control of themselves. The situation that pertains to this is not funny. It's not something to entertain on a podcast. It is a heavily century-long argument. It is a world fight. It is a situation that demoralizes men in general. And the side aspect of men having multiple women sleeping around cheating, that makes us look just as bad. It brings our value down. So just imagine how the value of a rapists look, especially when they come out of jail. They have to carry the title of a sex offender. That makes the whole neighborhood turn against them. It's not just the women in society turn against the man, it's the whole neighborhood now. It's society. So my take on this, everybody who has seen what's been going on is voicing their opinion. They're speaking out. But one thing we need to understand is where all this stems from and what we should do about it. Talking about it is one thing, but acting on it is another. And that's one thing that we're not doing. We're not acting on it strongly enough. Everybody's waiting on the government or the law system to just pass laws. But what are we doing as individuals? That's the question. At the end of the day, this is not funny, and it's not entertaining, and it's not something I would even want to put in as a characterization online. And to brag about it, it looks bad, period. Now, let's think about this last situation that is a back and forth. Is grape culture myth or fact? The notion of grape culture was developed by second wave feminists, primarily in the United States, beginning in the 1960s. Critics of the concept dispute its existence or extent, arguing that the concept is too narrow, or that although there are cultures where rape is pervasive, the very idea of rape culture can imply that it is not the rapist who is somehow at fault, but rather society as a whole that enables it. So when you have people on the internet, social media, bragging about what they did when they were young or when they were kids, and then want to say that no one's doing anything about it, this is why people can say this is a culture when we don't stand up against that type of rhetoric.
I think them hoes tell the truth. Ain't no woman just coming out lying on a nigga.
In the beginning, you had the feminist, and obviously now it's the turn of masculinity. But I think where people are losing the whole end goal is that we're becoming divided. Like, men are starting to slander women, and women are starting to slander men.
So when the young boys say, look out, bitch, so the young boys don't know how to court anymore. They don't know how to mac. They don't know how to sit on the phone and talk sweet with the love songs playing in the background. They don't know how to drop a love letter off passing in the hallway anymore. It's flash your penis. Say what that head like, what that mouth like, baby. So the music have taught us you don't get no wife. You don't get a wife. Man, you get the hoe. You have a party and let the rap, man, so the playerism is embraced.